The Morgan Thomas Show. Brought to you by Black's Tire Inc.
What's up, everyone? It's The Morgan Thomas Show. I'm your host and producer, Morgan Thomas, and welcome in again to The Morgan Thomas Show with Big Al and my co-host over to my left, I guess. Big Al, how you doing, Al?
I'm doing good. Another Tiger victory, another weekend in the books. It's a shame we don't get to watch them this coming weekend, but that's all right. It's all right. We got a lot to talk about and got the SEC starting, so it'll be good until we can tide us over into the Virginia game.
No one cares about the SEC, Al. You don't have to. We're not even gonna gloss over that. Houston down at the bottom. Welcome to the show, Houston.
Hello. Super glad Tigers are back in Death Valley. I like the setup I've got tonight. We got a lot going on. Got Monday Night Football on. I've got the Braves game on, tiding us over all the way to college football this weekend.
And if you're watching live, we really appreciate it because you've got a lot fighting for your attention on Monday nights now during football season. You've got Monday Night Football, which, Chris and Kurt call those games, and that's obviously, they're one of the best teams, or if not one of the best teams out there to do that. So if you're watching that, hopefully maybe you're watching in the background while you're watching this show. But we appreciate you joining. Then you also have Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you're a WWE fan like I am, but lots of things on Monday night, and we really appreciate you joining in. If you are over on Facebook or YouTube, or even checking us out through Twitter, we really appreciate it. Or maybe if you're afterwards, that's okay. Checking us out on the podcast, we thank you so much for the love and the support that you have done over this past almost 2 years now. So thank you again. A lot to talk about. As Al said, the Tigers have won another game. Now they are 2-0, and obviously it was the Citadel. So, a lot of backup play, a lot of garbage time in there. Big win. But there's a lot of points to talk about, and we're going to go through those. Segment number 2, talk about Clemson versus the Citadel and kind of our reaction to that game. Segment number 1 is going to be my reaction and our reaction as a whole, or as a group, to week number 3 and kind of reflecting back on that. We made some picks against the spread. I'll tell you what our results were, and then also kind of give you some thoughts on some of those games that I thought were, shocking to me, I guess. I think there were a couple of games that were kind of shocking out there. And then finally, we're going to wrap it up because the SEC is back. I didn't really see it being beneficial for us to go through all of the ACC and all of the top 25 teams because a lot of them will be playing this weekend, which is good, except for Clemson. But it's bad in the sense that it's going to take up a lot to go through all the teams. So what we did is we're going to do all the ACC games, and we're going to do a top 5 games of the week of the other games out there. So hope you stick around for that. That's segment number 3. And we have a big-time new sponsor that I'm excited to announce to you. So stick around for segment number 3 to check out our new sponsor. We have a few people over on YouTube so far. Again, thank you so much. If you got Monday Night Football on, just kind of turn it down and listen to this because, I think we can outdo Monday Night Football tonight. Al, what you got over on Facebook?
Well, right now it says we got 16 in. So what I want to do for the Facebook watchers right now, okay? It says we have 16 here. We have Kev Ron Harris, of course, and we have Billy Sigmund is with us as well. Those two get in early and they get in often. All right, we also have my wife watching, okay? But that's the only 3 I'm able to see, okay? So I should see 13 or 14 other names. It says we have 17 now. I should see 13 or 14 other names. Get in the comments. Let us know who you are, where you're listening from. And if you want, take the time, add myself, Morgan, and Houston on Facebook. So we can kind of see your name when you actually pop up to watch the show. Because right now I can only see 3. It says we've got 19. So something's not right there, okay? Get in the comments and let us know. We appreciate you watching.
Don't friend me on Facebook unless you're actually my friend. I don't appreciate that, Al. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Unbelievable.
Sharing the love, for sure. Go ahead. Friend us. Like the page. And because if you friend us, I'm going to invite you to like the page. So you might as well like the page, too. We really appreciate it. We're on our road to 1,000 on YouTube. Now, if you don't already have a Gmail account, where have you been? You probably got a Gmail account out there. Maybe you've got a burner Gmail account, a spam Gmail account, a real Gmail account, maybe an iffy, maybe I should sign up for this, maybe not, email account. I know you got a few of them. Go log into those and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs over there because then we get super chat and then I get to figure out what that means. And I think it's awesome. It sounds awesome. And we got 80 subs away. So we're so close. 920 right now, last time I looked. So please jump in and join our subscribers over there because that's where I put up all the highlights. So you can go check it out there too. Let's start with segment number one. Before we get into segment number one, though, let me tell you about our primary show sponsor. And they actually just decided to renew with us for season, well, I guess you could say year number 2, season number 2. So thank you so much to Black's Tire Inc., blackstireinc.net. 864-647-9292. Family owned and operated since 1971. If you need new tires, brakes, alignments, tire repair, or just looking for a friendly professional to help answer your questions, check out Black's Tire Inc., located 1415 East Main Street, Westminster, South Carolina. Now, where's Westminster? It's in the middle of nowhere. No, it's not. It's not. It's really close to the stadium. If you go past the stadium, you get past Seneca, and you go into Westminster, boom, there it is right on the right-hand side. You can get some new tires. Go check them out. Tell Preston and Dale that Morgan Thomas, Big Al, and Houston Burnett all sent you to Black's Tire. So we really appreciate those guys for supporting us. Again, season number 2, as I said. But let's get into segment number 1 because that's why you're here is segment number 1. And kind of my, $2 bill segment. Go back and reflect and give you instead of my 2 cents, because we're Tiger fans, it's $2 bill. We got a little bit more money than 2 cents, but I still have the same kind of opinions. The first thing up on my list, we got to talk about, guys, Notre Dame. All right, so, I picked South Florida. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Again, no shame in this show. No shame. I'm going to go ahead and say that I picked South Florida, keep it close. I had hopes that Ray McLeod's brother and Jeff Scott could do something, and needless to say, I fell flat on my face. So Notre Dame was said that by some of the experts that they would be bouncing back, and sure enough, they did. Looks like they found a couple of more running backs to help them out. I still don't think they have a passing game because get this, guys, 52 points scored. Okay? I've got no receiving touchdowns for that team. All right? So that's kind of shocking to me. What are your thoughts on that Notre Dame game?
Well, I will yield to the experts on this one. I did not actually see the game. I saw the final score. I'm pretty sure Houston and I went with Notre Dame in this one. I can't exactly remember. I went with Notre Dame. I'm pretty solid, but that was it was a tough one. South Florida just got a long way to go. We love Coach Jeff Scott, and we hope he can get that turned around. It's just not happening yet. And Notre Dame, a nice bounce back. They looked a lot better this week. Obviously, I get the opponent's not quite what it was, but they struggled for a little while with Duke in the first one, and I think they looked a lot more like people were thinking Notre Dame was going to look this year. So we'll see how they look moving forward. We don't ever want to give Notre Dame too much credit.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I did take Notre Dame. One of the few picks that I got right this week. It was a bad week. I'll get into that more later. But Notre Dame looked good. I think Morgan does have a point. Their run game for Notre Dame is absolutely great. They are deep. They've got a stable of backs that are very talented. They've got an offensive line that's amazing. But still a little bit to be desired for their passing game. So we'll see. They dominated an inferior opponent. We'll see how they do going forward.
Yeah, still got a long way to go for sure. And then they got to face the Clemson Tigers as well. Going to be a good one for sure. I really don't understand their social distancing, though. They're allowing their entire student body and professors to all go to the games and sit. Basically, it looks like, in my opinion, sit wherever they want. Stark contrast from Clemson, where it's like you got to sit in those 2 seats. Now, I told the guys earlier that I was going to be a little bit upset because, I'll tell you this. It was the Citadel. I'll give you guys a break. But to me, if you buy a ticket, if you don't opt out, if you don't redshirt, and then you have paid enough money to have 4 Clemson Tiger put in seat backs on the first or second row behind the sideline. and you don't come to the game, I don't get that. That shocks me. Now I can get it if you're way up in the top, because I did see the big picture, a photo of the stadium as a whole. There were a lot of empty seats, unfortunately. It kind of made me sad. Obviously, I can only say so much because I like watching it from home. But I will say, if you go through the trouble of getting to where you're at, to pay for the tickets, and then pay for 4 tickets, and then I don't know, and then have great tickets. I don't know. I don't get it. It's to me. I feel like you should probably go to the game and check them out, because there's a lot of cool things to watch, especially a lot of good freshmen out there too. But I digress. Let's go to some more games. Oklahoma State. This is one that really, really shocked me, because I'm like, well, Tulsa has a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter. I mean, they actually were about to tie it, I think, late in the fourth quarter, or mid fourth, I believe. So Oklahoma State loses Spencer Sanders. I know that Allen's been really behind Spencer Sanders there. So is Houston, and Oklahoma State was supposed to be fighting for that top spot against Oklahoma. Tulsa had a chance, like I said, missed a chip shot field goal from a true freshman kicker, and I just felt for that kid, because that was, I'm telling you what, man, some people's grandparents could have kicked that one, my guys. So that was like really close, and he just completely shanked it. So a little bit confused there, but again, Oklahoma State, they come out and they lose their quarterback within the second series. So that's, I'm going to give them that. Okay, I'll give them some slack there. Ethan Bullock, though, not impressed. When he got out there and kind of went 3 and out, and it kind of looked real slow, I said, got to get this guy out of here. Thankfully, they had a true freshman, Shane Illingworth, and he just didn't care. I mean, he started throwing the ball anywhere he could find somebody with just a little bit of space, and it worked out for him, thankfully. Chuba Hubbard, this big-time guy, supposed to be one of the best running backs in the nation, really kind of a no-show. They locked him down. So, Al, I know you were kind of busy this weekend, but I'll start with Houston. Houston, what's your thoughts?
So, yeah, I watched that entire game, or at least from when I got the notification that Spencer Sanders went out. And I was not impressed with them. It's been a struggle for Oklahoma State. I should have known this, because they seem to struggle early on, kind of like how I said with Iowa State. They have their first or second game struggles. Chuba Hubbard did not show up. Over 20 carries, just a little bit over 90 yards, I believe. Whereas Travis Etienne was in limited time, 8 carries, 68 yards. You look at those yards per carry, Chuba Hubbard's got to do better than that if he's going to be even close to being in a Heisman running. And then they started to finally figure out that they could just throw the ball at Tylan Wallace, and that's why they ended up winning. If they don't figure that out and just don't let Tylan Wallace be Tylan Wallace, Oklahoma State loses that game.
Yeah, like you said, I had a lot going on this weekend, so I didn't get to see a lot of these games. I do want to mention, by the way, when you were talking about your rant of empty seats, if there are people that have tickets that are not intending to go to the game, I will take those tickets, because I want to be in Death Valley for every game. So please, Facebook Alan Adams and let him know you have tickets available, because I would be happy to take them off your hands and fill those seats. But yeah, close call for Oklahoma State. We talked them up in the preseason kind of, and I don't know if I picked them to win that division, if we even went over those divisions, but I think we had them at the top. And we thought they were going to be good. Chuba Hubbard, of course, is the big kind of name, and obviously he was held to next to nothing really for Chuba Hubbard, anyways. So that's kind of tough. They're going to have to get something going. And do we know about the quarterback? Is he going to be back? Is he gone? What do we know?
So high ankle sprain is what we got, and that's about all we know. I tried to look it up online. I didn't see any definitives out there, but again, it goes back to what Houston said. You really, even without him, you should be able to lean on Chuba Hubbard. Well, they leaned on him with 27 carries, but got 93 yards, which is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, you got to take 30 carries to get to 100 yards from one of the best running backs in the nation against Tulsa. Right. Doesn't make any sense to me. Hopefully they bounce back. I believe they got to play West Virginia this weekend, so two that might be interesting to see there for sure. Let's go over to the ACC real quick. This is another one I had down, and again, it was one that we all agreed upon, and we all actually successfully picked this one. UCF goes to Georgia Tech and actually wins the game, and it was close for a little bit. It got to, I believe, early in the fourth quarter where it was within 7 points, but Georgia Tech's defense is really not there to stop any kind of passing game right now, especially a Dylan Gabriel type passing game. I mean, they just really they don't really to me don't have a the best at winning the line of scrimmage either. So there's still a lot of room to improve. But Jeff Sims almost threw for another 300 yards again. I feel like Jeff Sims is definitely that guy that Florida State would love to have, because he's definitely a quarterback that you can build around. He seems like he's a good guy. Seems like he kind of understands how the offense works. He seems like he understands how to like make big plays either by moving out of the pocket or whatever it may be. I really like what I see with him. And if you're a FSU fan, we just got to rub it in some more, because I mean, you're sitting here stuck with Blackman again, and can't win these games, and then Georgia Tech's now starting to pass you up and looked pretty good against UCF. I was kind of sweating a little bit because UCF seemed to struggle at the beginning, kind of going back and forth, and then late game took it over. Do I think that Georgia Tech is the real deal? No, I don't think Georgia Tech's the real deal. Do I think they can hang with Clemson? No, but they are having the building blocks. Now, if you start seeing Jeff Collins landing some big-time defensive ends, maybe a sprinkle in an offensive lineman here or there, then I'm going to be a little bit scared. Not scared, but then I'm going to be a little bit on notice for Georgia Tech. Might take a little while. I hope that he can build some people around Jeff Sims before it's too late.
We're going to Houston next, right? It's you, Houston, me
Houston,
this time.
Go ahead, Houston.
Yeah, so for the UCF Georgia Tech game, I agree that Georgia Tech is a good young team, kind of like the Braves from a couple years ago, where they're kind of building those building blocks and they're getting better. You've got a talented young freshman quarterback, talented duo of running backs, despite not having your leading rusher. But I'm impressed by UCF, and I don't like UCF personally. I don't like the whole 2017 national title nonsense. But I'll say this. They could be the first team from the non-Power 5 to make the playoff this year. They are that talented. They're that good. And they're in a conference that is doing just well enough to where they could actually make that jump. If they blow out a Cincinnati or a Memphis or a Houston, they could have some say to get in there, especially if somebody from the Big 12 falters. If you've got an undefeated UCF versus a one-loss Oklahoma team that lost to a bad team, you might have a case.
Yeah, I'm really going to be interested to see where this UCF team goes from here. I mean, when I was watching it, obviously, we all hammered UCF, said they were just going to absolutely destroy Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech comes out and almost runs the opening kickback, and they score within, just a few seconds. It was unbelievable. And I was like, hey, you know what? It's not time to hit the panic button yet. So we saw how fast the UCF offense was running. They were really, really up tempo. For sure. They were lightning fast out there. I was like, you know what? It doesn't really matter if Georgia Tech scores a little bit here and there. UCF's going to wear them down eventually, and they're going to pull away at the end, and that's exactly what happened. In the end, it wasn't close. But Georgia Tech, I was impressed. They were able to hang in there for a while, a lot longer than I thought they would, for sure. But, UCF pulled away at the end. I did watch that game, and it was a good one for sure, especially there for a while. Georgia Tech has some pieces, like you said, but I still think they're a ways away, and it's certainly not going to threaten Clemson, I wouldn't think, anytime soon.
Yeah, I go back to that Tulsa game too. Actually, Alan and I picked Tulsa, so Houston. Right. Sorry for you there, but we did all pick UCF at Georgia Tech. We picked UCF to cover, and so we were successful there. Another one of our all chips in game. We hammered home Miami, Louisville. Ugh. We hammered Louisville. We'll get to that one too. I don't want to say anything about App State, but App State Marshall may be better than we think under this freshman quarterback. Maybe there's something to Grant Wells there. But another team that we knew was kind of improving, I guess you could say, is Boston College. Now, I actually didn't watch this game, but I know I wanted to mention it because Walt Deptula kept getting on to me about this is his dark horse pick for the ACC. Boston College and Phil Jerkovich, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers, 162 yards. So they have that running back that is they feel like is kind of a clone of A.J. Dillon, and then they now have a quarterback that's a transfer that put up 300 yards in his first game and just kind of trounced over Dukes there. So looks like that Boston College has put the ACC on notice that maybe they're not going to be as rebuilding as much as we thought. And we know that they have a lot of defensive-minded coaches out there, so I expect them to continue to be solid on defense as well. But let's skip that. And let's go straight into kind of the game of the night, the one that kind of shocked me, even though this was Allen's preseason pick for winning the Coastal, but back when there was a Coastal, if you guys can remember back in the day. But Miami comes out and beats Louisville. And here's an interesting stat for you that I shared with Walt as well. Total yards. Who won the total yards? What would you think, Al? Who do you think won the total yards?
I thought Louisville won the total yards.
Louisville won the total yards. Who won time of possession by 16 or 16 minutes almost?
Had to have been Louisville because Georgia Tech Miami scored Miami scored in a play like twice in the second half.
So Louisville again. Who had more first downs?
Yeah, it's easy. It had to be Louisville.
So
2 75-yard plays in the second half for Miami.
So Louisville 29 Louisville had 29 first downs to 19, 516 yards to 485, and 38 minutes to just a little bit over or right almost a little bit under 22 minutes. So when you look at those three stats, you're like, well, of course Louisville won, right? Of course.
Right.
Of course. Then you look at the turnovers. 3 turnovers to none for Miami. The turnover chain was happening. They got a new one now. It looks like the state of Florida. Looks pretty nice. I got to hand it to them. They actually have to wash it and clean it and make sure that they disinfect it after every person wears it. And they can only wear it for like a certain amount of time. They're not allowed because if you wear some jewelry longer than like 2 minutes, then it gets COVID and then you can't get it off. That's how it works. But
right.
As long as you have the Lysol wipes, you're all good, right? So. They get the Lysol wipes out, wipe it down. They had to transfer it to 3 people, and then they lock it up in a chest. It's very, very sophisticated system, guys. I wouldn't expect you to understand, but really cool, really cool. So what's your thoughts on now, Al, you got to tell me, did you watch this game? I mean, what did you do? Just sleep the whole weekend?
Unfortunately, yes. I did watch this game. I did watch this game. It was a fun game to watch. I was disappointed the whole time because, again, I'm the guy. I'm the idiot that everybody was laughing at when I picked Miami to win the Coastal. Okay, I thought they had a chance. I thought De'Aaron King was going to be able to hide some of the offensive line issues. I thought they had an incredible defensive line. And I'm the one telling you, hey, I'm going to go with a surprise pick. You laughed at me. The audience was laughing at me. They were commenting at me, in the text box over here. It's like, come on, give me a break. And sure enough, Miami comes out and plays like the team I thought they would be. It's funny because I picked Louisville in this game and was very confident that Louisville was going to cover the spread because I didn't like what I saw from Miami week 1. And Houston and I talked about that a little bit last week. I did not like what I saw from Rhett Lashley. I thought De'Aaron King looked a little bit slower. But in hindsight, it appears Miami was holding a little bit back in that first week. Or maybe they just needed to get the first week jitters out. I'm not really sure. But they played like the Miami team I expected to see this season. I was not prepared for it, and Louisville obviously wasn't prepared for it. But it was an interesting game. I thought Louisville came out in the second half, did exactly what they needed to do, go right down the field, scored a touchdown, brought it within a score, and then boom, next play, 75 yards to the house. Just completely undisciplined defense by the Louisville Cardinals all night long. And it was rough to watch from that perspective. But yeah, I was very proud of the Miami team that I thought we were going to see this season. And I like to be able to point back to that sound clip if you've got it anywhere you can dig it up.
Yeah. I'll say this. The 2 picks that killed me this week were the ones that we all agreed on. App State and Louisville. I will make sure I'll try to branch out from now on because that killed me this week. Miami did look impressive, and I won't take anything away from them. I think they ran the ball with ease on Louisville. De'Aaron King looked good. Their running backs, their freshman running backs, Jalen Knighton and Cameron Harris, they both looked really, really good. However, I can't remember if it was Walt or somebody on Twitter saying, is this Miami looking extremely good or Louisville not looking as good as we thought. Louisville has playmakers on their team. They've got some very talented receivers, talented running backs, a very talented quarterback when he wants to be. Mikael Cunningham had some issues the other night with the turnover, but they don't have what they need on the lines of scrimmage. Their offensive line struggled mightily. Their defensive line struggled. And then on top of that, their entire defense struggled with coverage. I mean, you have 2 plays for 150 yards in a matter of 30 seconds. It took the wind out of the sails of that team. It was a gut punch at the end of the game. So Miami does look good. I think Miami's going to roll over Florida State and going into being a potential top 10 matchup with us. But I'm not ready to just crown Miami as being back like everybody wants to right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of the experts thought that Louisville was going to win this game, even though I believe last year they lost this game too. So this is like 2 years in a row that they can't beat Miami. But, it was really shocking. You see Malik Cunningham out there or Mikael Cunningham. He went by Malik last night. I don't know, or Saturday night. I don't know. But you see him out there, and on third down, looks like Deshaun Watson. And the Texans out there running for his life, trying to figure out what he's going to do. It's really kind of sad. Unfortunately, he's not getting paid like Deshaun Watson. At least Deshaun's, walking to the bank and can cash out some money there. But Cunningham is definitely struggling on third down. Doesn't really know what to do. Seems to be running around and chicken with his head cut off kind of thing. And that Miami defense, you could just hear them because there's not as many fans. You could just hear them like going crazy. I mean, it was almost like they were just laughing at him because they were like, okay, third down, we know we're going to get him this time because he's gonna fold, he's gonna turn around. There was one time where it looked like he just basically turned around and fell down. I mean, he just kind of was like, okay, I'm about to get sacked again. I'm not even going to fight for it anymore. Now that's one thing Deshaun Watson won't do. He's going to fight for it, and he definitely can escape things and do some Houdini stuff out there. But again, like you guys said, the defense was bad last year and gave up 400 yards a game last year. So not super surprised about that. But, and if you take away the 3 turnovers, I mean, who knows? I mean, it could have been a lot closer. But, does this mean that Miami has arrived and is more lethal than Louisville? It's still early. Houston's over here shaking his head. No, it's still early, but they've got 2 tight ends that are legit that I like. I like a lot. They've got a running back that I like a lot. They've got a quarterback that has now found the passing game and was already a good runner. It's they've got weapons that you have to plan for. Now, do they have as many weapons as maybe a Clemson? Maybe not. But they definitely have a solid defense. We know that the Manny Diaz, defense is going to be there. But it's interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. They got a game coming up against Florida State. Got some people saying that, is this a trap game for Miami? And we'll talk about that when we get into segment number 3 in our picks against the spread. I think that was it. Let me tell you the final results for us last week. Let me pull them up. Houston, just cover your ears. So you really overall, Houston, not bad. But right now I'm 9-8 against the spread. Allen's 10-7 against the spread, and Houston is 8-9 against the spread. So hey, not bad there, not bad. But I just got a notification. Jalen Peeler subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Jalen. Appreciate that. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're on the road to 1,000. And we're so close. I think that puts us at 79 left. So 79 to go. Like I said, I know everybody has about 4 or 5 Gmail accounts. Go log into each one and subscribe for us. We really appreciate it. But that's the end of segment number 1. Let us know what your thinks are. We're going to go through the chat real quick. Al, you got anything lighting up on chat before we get to the Clemson game?
Well, I wanted to get to that. No, I don't. I have 0. I have 0 comments over here, and we've had like 20 viewers the whole show. So I don't know if nobody's commenting or if I just can't see the comments.
I see some.
Okay, I was about to say, if y'all are seeing comments, great. I wanted to apologize to everybody. I'm not ignoring your comments. It's not that. I literally see nothing. I even asked somebody to get in the chat so I could check to see if it's working, and I got nothing. So I'm guessing I just can't see it.
You can't see it because people are responding back to you saying, I'm here. Check it, Al. I'm here.
I'm here.
So what they recommend, Al, if you don't mind, let's take a second here. What we recommend is that you tried restarting Okay,
I
let's
have a couple of
unplug.
times.
Let's unplug and plug back in, and let's try it again. But I'm looking over here, and got some people saying that they are. So Bill comes in. He said he was at Death Valley. He said that he loved it and he thought it was a surreal experience. Bill, I want to know, and anybody who was there, I want to know what your thoughts were on the crowd noise. Mark Childers sent me kind of a video of the teaser of the crowd noise. I thought it was really well done. I felt like that it added to the atmosphere. It wasn't overbearing or anything. So I really thought it was good. Did you guys notice it?
Houston, get in there. I'm responding on Facebook.
I didn't really. I mean, I guess it sounded okay. I've got mixed reactions off of what I saw on social media. Some people thought it was really well done. Other people were relatively annoyed by it. Some people were just weirded out by it. I thought it sounded okay for what was there. Going back to your seat, $2 rant there was. I didn't really notice as many. And like I said, I'm like, Al, if you have any extra tickets, hook me up. I'm looking for some for Miami or Virginia or whoever is available. But I think it was well for the first time, and I actually liked the band being on the hill.
Good thoughts as well. Yeah, I didn't notice a ton of empty seats like Morgan was talking about, except for, the empty seats that had to be empty. So, yeah, I did notice a ton of empty seats, but not empty seats from people that were actually going to have, possible seats there. There were some in the upper deck, but I didn't think there was a bunch of them. But let's see. Hold on. Bill Lanham gets in from Four Paws and says the piped-in crowd noise didn't really sound very loud, except when those of us there were yelling too. So I don't know about the piped-in crowd noise. Yeah, I didn't really notice much there on the TV. I didn't really think it sounded bad from our end. Of course, we're not in there getting the live experience. But again, we'd be happy to get the live experience if somebody has any tickets available. So just going to plug that in one more time. Hopefully we can, get some fish to bite there.
I think Bill can pull some strings over there in chat and get us a couple more. And chat's also saying the band on the hill, they thought that was well done. I thought it was really cool too. After a touchdown, you get to see the band playing as they kick the field goal. Pretty cool. I mean, not the same as having students for sure, but right. Still pretty cool adjustment there. I like that. Again, we got people in chat also saying that, talking about the games last weekend. So we're going to continue on and talk about segment number 2. Before we get into that, we don't have our call-in hotline up tonight because we got a lot going on during football season. It's kind of tough to get everybody in and still get to go to bed early, or at least on time. So we're gonna pause the hotline, but we're still going to talk about Charleston Sports Pub of Clemson. As you can see there, Taj Boyd is a patron of Charleston Sports Pub of Clemson. They also have one in Greenville. If you're a Greenvillian like me and you want to go check them out there, downtown Greenville and downtown Clemson as well. And then they also, if you're over in Charleston, you can go check out Charleston Sports Pub. That's where the name comes from, right? It's kind of interesting there, but go check them out. Charleston Sports Pub. Let Perry know that we sent you. Great food and good time for sure. But also I want to tell you about our second segment sponsor, and that is Tiger Sports Shops. We don't just dress for success, we TS for success. Tigersports.com. Thank you, Julie and Sean, for supporting us as always. Tonight, let me pull it up here real quick. Tonight, I am wearing a purple Nike Polo, Clemson, and, breathable. And it's a medium, by the way, because of my Weight Watchers. I'm back on the medium train. Just thought you'd like to know that, Big Al. What you got?
I have a purple striped Cutter and Buck Dry Tech Polo. It seems like most of my polos from there are Cutter and Buck Dry Tech polos, but there's some high quality stuff. You need to get by Tiger Sports Shop. Okay, they have the Cutter and Buck, they have Antigua, they have Nike, they have Tommy Bahama, they have Varsity Tailgate, they have the special Tiger Sports Shop brand. There's one of the shirts that I wear is the Tiger Sports Shop brand. Tiger Sports Shop brand is a brand they are promoting that is the same quality apparel at a more affordable price. And I absolutely love my Tiger Sports Shop branded t-shirt, or polo, I should say. Morgan's got one as well, I believe. So they need to come out with some more designs for those because I need to get another one for sure. No doubt about it. But you want to go to Tiger Sports Shop. They're the biggest, baddest selection in all of Clemson. Check out their downtown location or the one on the US 123 bypass. And I'm going to say this right this time. Tell them Allen, Morgan, and Houston sent you. Okay. Houston feels bad because I always say, tell them Allen and Morgan sent you. It's a habit for over a year now. And I know he gets a little tear. You see the tear starting to run down his cheek when I forget his name.
Slight, small tear. Yes.
I do apologize for that, but I'm fixing it tonight. So tell them Allen, Morgan, and Houston sent you.
Well, we really appreciate all three of the hosts on this show. I really do, including myself, definitely. But thank you again, guys, for that. And again, go check out tigersports.com. We really appreciate them. Can't wait to go check out what they got going on this year. I'm really wanting to get one of those new Clemson men's soccer jerseys, but I don't think they've come out yet, so I'm kind of waiting on those right now. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Now, this is kind of way off subject, but you know I love my rants, all right? I really want to let you know that we really appreciate the comments and the interaction over on Facebook and YouTube. And that's what it's really about, is that engagement. You know, you might see other people out there talking about views and just, you know, spreading things out there and really not even wanting to even talk to you. And that's the difference about this show, is not only do we allow you to call in when our call-in hotline is there, but we want to talk to you through the chat. So get in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Let us know how long you've been a Clemson fan. Let us know what your thoughts were last week and what your thoughts are going into this week, because we really want to hear from you and want you to be a part and interact and take part of this show. It's not just us talking. Even though we like to hear ourselves talk, we want to hear you and your opinion as well. So get in. Like I said, we're not just something for you to sit there and consume. We want you to enjoy it and be a part of the show. We have three hosts, but we also have you, the fans, and the viewers watching from home. So we really appreciate it, again, for you hanging out tonight. I know Monday Night Football's on. I know WWE Raw's on, but we really appreciate you tuning us in, or at least having us in the background as you watch NFL football tonight. All right, so let's get into segment number 2, guys. That's Clemson versus the Citadel, 49-0. Trevor Lawrence had another big day. The Clemson defense did really well. And surprise, surprise, Trevor Lawrence has found the deep ball. You know, we kind of said, where was it last week? Well, there it is. And he found it by way of Frank Ladson Jr. Really nice to see him. Pro Football Focus put him as a player on the team of the week. So congratulations there to Mr. Ladson Jr. And Trevor Lawrence, Brian Brzee, Pro Football Focus National Player of the Week. Those two guys on there for their work so far in college football. Really, really awesome. And a lot of people are saying in chat, what happened to Joseph Ngata, his right-hand man, the number 2 guy, the number 1 guy, I guess you could say, the guy that was supposed to be in place of Justin Ross? Well, he tweaked his ab, I believe, right before the game or leading up into the game, so they decided to hold him out, or at least I think he might have played 1 series. Some people say he was out there for 1 or 2 series, and then he kind of tweaked something and walked away. So understandable there that you don't want to risk any further injury to a player, especially in a game where you're probably going to win for sure anyways. But it was really good to see a lot of these new guys out there getting a lot of time. A little bit of a concern, though, too, because no scores in the third quarter or fourth quarter. So a lot of fans out there said, where are the points? Where are the points? 49-0 is not enough. We need more. And they weren't there after halftime. So, was it a concern? Was it not? We'll get into it. But I want to tell you, let's go round table real quick. Offensive player of the game, defensive player of the game. I'm going to go ahead and say the guy I already mentioned, Frank Ladson Jr., 3 receptions, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns, big-time passes for sure, deep passes from Trevor Lawrence. And then I'm also going to say Miles Murphy on defense with the forced fumble that James Skalski scooped and scored for a touchdown. But really, it all started with Big 98 there, who's making his presence known early. A lot of people over in the forums online saying that Miles Murphy could be one of the best freshmen that Clemson's ever had. And I know it's week 2. It's hard to kind of give that label out there. You don't want to jinx him, but I think this guy can handle it. And then I want to give an honorable mention to Greg Williams. 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Freshman from Sewanee, Georgia. Good job there, Greg. We really appreciate it for your hard work there. Like I said, you get some good freshmen out there, get some of their experience, and that's what Clemson does so well. That's why I believe they have such good depth going into championship phase, early December and late December and on. All right, so Al, I think he's already mad with me, so I'll let you vent your frustration now.
I am mad with you. I hated you before that. I really hate you now. Okay. First of all, you're right. I'll give you what you did right. Okay, you are correct. Frank Ladsen's the guy to go to for offensive player of the game. That's who I picked as well. He had, I think, 3 receptions, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. I liked his first touchdown was incredible. Okay, Lawrence threw a rope over the middle, and I mean that the defender was draped all over Lads. Like all, I mean, it was good. It was good coverage. He wasn't pass interference or anything like that. He was just in the perfect spot, and I think he even got that hand on the ball. Ladson did a good job of not only extending his arms but extending them forward towards the ball. It was an incredible catch, and incredible concentration required to make that catch. I was very proud of that moment. A little disappointed on the deep ball that he caught. He looked like he juggled it about 3 times before he actually got it under control. So he's going to have to do better than that, because if a DB's on him, they're going to swat that out. So we're going to give him credit for those 2 touchdowns, and it's good to see. It's good to see somebody take the top off the defense. We've needed to see that for a while. Still didn't get to see my jump ball to Ngata like I wanted to. So I'm still waiting on that. I want to see somebody out there that can go up and make a play, even if they're covered, even if they're double covered. I want somebody to get the jump ball like a Higgins would have. I want to see that from this Clemson offense going forward. They haven't had to yet. No big deal. But yeah, I took Frank Ladson as well. On defense, I thought I was going to shock the world. And pick Greg Williams. And you had to go in and throw your stupid honorable mention in. Okay, just keep your mouth shut, do offense and defense, and leave it alone. Let everybody else get their moment in the sunshine, but you had to steal it. Okay? Greg Williams, I swear, I was watching this game, especially in the second half, and number 40 was running around. I'm like, who is number 40? Because this he's made a couple plays. What's going on? He's almost making another big play. I was like, it's Greg Williams. It's Greg Williams, the guy we brought in at linebacker, who they thought would grow into a defensive end. He is a defensive end right now. I mean, he was all over the place. I thought he looked really good. We had several look good on defense, though. I mean, goodness gracious, we gave up 0 points. Okay. Of course, Brazil looked pretty good. He was pretty disruptive. Miles Murphy looked incredible. Skowski looked really good. He was kind of, getting in there really hard, which is what Skowski does. And Greg Williams looked great. I saw Trenton Simpson got a nice sack there. He looked good coming off the edge. Of course, he wasn't really blocked, but hey, that's what we want to see. We want to see him coming in hard and ready to destroy somebody. That's what he did. So yeah, it's looking good. The depth is looking good on the defense. We are there. We're ready to wreak havoc the rest of this year for sure. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we'll talk about the offense and what they need to do in the second half. The backups. There's a lot of backups, no points. The offense just didn't find a good rhythm there. So it's a little frustrating, but again, I'm certainly not hitting the panic button by any means.
And, to go back to Trenton Simpson, as you mentioned, saw some pictures of his mom there with his jersey on, cheering him on. So, when mama's there and it's the first game of your collegiate career, first home game, rather, of your collegiate career, you want to put on a little show. So good job, Trenton, there for putting on a show for mom.
Yeah, and for my offensive player of the game, I'll be different than everybody than Frank Ladson. Frank Ladson certainly deserves it, but I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence, 8 of 9. And right now, his completion percentage on the year is currently at 81.9%, I believe. That's unreal. It's unreal. Heisman high. This is the best chance in our lifetimes of seeing a Heisman Trophy winner in Clemson. Trevor's for real. He's going to win the Heisman. He deserves the player of the game because he was just throwing darts all over the field. And it's kind of crazy to see Trevor make this progression from an already outstanding quarterback to someone who's making consistent reads. You can tell that he's reading all of his options, and he's hitting open men every single time. It's not just the deep ball. It's the intermediate throw. It's spectacular, and he just continues to amaze me. I almost, for the defensive player of the game, wanted to give Baby Venables, Tyler Venables, the player of the game for getting a pick, but he just was one step out of bounds, unfortunately. So I'll go with Miles Murphy. Look, Miles Murphy looks like a bigger version of Clelin Ferrell. He's got like a Clelin Ferrell vibe to him, but bigger. And that's crazy to say. And then with Greg, I honest to God had a moment during the game when I saw Greg Williams, and I go, wait, what's Andre Branch doing out on the field? Exactly. I was like, what's Andre Branch doing out here? And I was like, wait a minute. Whoa. So I'll have to pick one person, that's Miles Murphy, but the defense just looks outstanding. It looks just outstanding.
And, Clemson has a bye week this week, early season bye week, and you don't get to see the Tigers, but you do get to see a lot of the SEC, and we're going to talk about a couple of those games. Not all the games like we normally do, just too many games, really, and all the SEC teams are ranked, it seems like, so because of the shortened season or the shortened league, it was just going to be too much to kind of squeak in before 10 o'clock, but we wanted to give you kind of our top five and then the ACC, as we always do. Another thing is, so after the bye week, then it's already come out and said that Clemson's going to play Virginia at 8 p.m., and that's a home game. UVA actually hasn't played a game because they've had so many issues going on so far. They had to move back the Commonwealth game later on in the year, mid-December now is going to be that game. But they have to play Duke this weekend, so hopefully they get in and kind of see what they can do, get a little sneak peek, a little scouting report on Virginia versus Duke there. For me, if you look at Duke, they seem to do decent or hold their own a little bit better than BC. And if you look at the stat sheet, it's, in my opinion, because Duke is better at stopping the run than they are at stopping the pass. Because BC was able to pass, Notre Dame really wasn't not a passing team, and so it was a little bit harder for Notre Dame to get things rolling. Duke seems to be more successful, I guess, against the run is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see what UVA can do because they have Terrell Jana, they have their new quarterback now, and we'll see what they can do, but. What do they have in the running game? We don't really know. They do have a power back. I'm not even going to try to attempt to say his name off the cuff. I didn't even write it down, but we'll see. 4 p.m. this weekend, Virginia versus Duke. And again, kind of the elephant in the room, the question at least, there's not a lot of questions when you come from the Citadel game because we know that the game got out of hand very quickly. At halftime, Dabo Swinney offered to continue to run the clock, and the head coach of Citadel said, no way, I'm going to just keep playing like normal. So Clemson didn't score in the fourth quarter against Wake Forest, didn't score in the fourth quarter against the Citadel. Offensive line on the second team we knew is young. Is it the offensive line that can't get the running game going is why they can't really kind of move late game? Is it because they're just kind of slowing everything down and going to a real base offense? Is it even anything to even really kind of worry about or even discuss? Al, what you got?
Yeah, I think it's a little of both. I think it's the offensive line, and I think it's the playbook. Then that's very typical of Clemson. Everybody is so excited to see the backup quarterback come in the late game. I understand Clemson, did get DJ in there a little bit earlier, but in typical games, they're coming in at the end in garbage time. Everybody's so excited, can't wait to see what this kid can do, and they're just turning around and handing the ball off. Okay, that's what Clemson does. They did get to run a little bit more of the offense here. Obviously, they had a little more time to work with. They wanted to see what they could do, but. Again, they're playing with backups on the offensive line, and they are very young, very inexperienced. As usual, most of them would probably be redshirting, in fact, except for we just have no depth on the offensive line. This is one of the years we have no depth there, period. So a lot of them have to play. And, so I'm not going to say it's concerning. It's really not to me because if you can plug one or two of those guys in here, let's say, God forbid, there's some kind of injury or something like that. You plug one of the, a couple of those guys in on the first team, I don't think you're going to see a big drop-off or anything like that. Unless your entire starting offense is hurt, I think you're going to be okay. So, no, it's going to be great experience for them. It's going to pay huge dividends down the road, whether it be down the road this season or whether we're moving into next year. It's going to pay off for Clemson as it usually does.
Well, part of the things for me is I think it's good that they played a ton of guys in the third and fourth quarter in both games, regardless of whether they scored or not. You don't know who's going to have to step in because of COVID. Now, they haven't had any positive tests or contact tracing or anything like that. Clemson's been very, very fortunate in that regard since the beginning of the season. I would say this, as they integrated the second, first and second string, second to third string, they started doing that in the second quarter. DJ looked impressive. I thought he had a lot of pop, a lot of flash in what he was doing. A lot of our running backs who got playing time had moments where they looked good. And I think the second string offensive line had moments where they looked good as well. I think a lot of it was they didn't want to run up the score. They didn't want to really throw too much. It's the Citadel. Let's just sit on this and get through the game. I say it's almost like the first 2 weeks of preseason. Like I know Wake Forest is a conference opponent, but you can honestly treat these first 2 weeks like preseason games, get a lot of reps in for a lot of guys, and get ready for the stretch run starting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it, and again, like I said, it's not really something, we're not even really complaining. It's just something that I kind of saw out there on social media saying, what's going on with Clemson in the fourth quarter? Really, it goes back to the fact that, these guys are just learning each other. I mean, the quarterback's learning the running back and the, how they interact and the playbook, and then offensive line, after the first string, that second string, third string are trying to figure out what is going on with standing side by side and shoulder to shoulder, things like that. So we're trying to figure that out, but we really appreciate it. And thank you for watching in segment number 2. And that's it. We're about to get into segment number 3. Man, maybe we had enough time. Maybe we had enough time for all the picks, but there were a lot of picks. So, maybe we'll throw them up on southlandclub.com. Go check out southlandclub.com, our website that we have up. We try to throw up a couple of articles here and there, and we're working on a few things still on our end, but we really appreciate it. But we have a new segment number 3 sponsor, and I wanted to bring it on real quick. And let me bring up my photo here. So we got Daniel Weber from State Farm Insurance. Daniel Weber is now the newest sponsor for the Morgan Thomas Show. We really appreciate that. You can see his lovely picture there, and he is at 518 College Avenue, Suite 190 in Clemson, South Carolina. Call him 722-9083, or go to www.insuringclemson.com. And he's been a longtime friend of ours, and we really appreciate him coming in. But for all your insurance needs, call Daniel Weber State Farm. Their team is located, again, in the heart of Clemson, South Carolina, and their goal is to protect, educate, serve their customers and community. They specialize in auto and home insurance, as well as life insurance and health insurance. Their goal is to help protect your family and your finances. Again, give them a call, 864-722-9083. Hey, here's a recent 5-star Google review. The staff at the Daniel Weber office is so kind, thoughtful, knowledgeable to my insurance needs. The office is quaint and appeasing, so I love to stop in. As always, it's a treat. So thank you so much, Daniel, for sponsoring our segment number 3. And, lucky enough, he gets one of our popular segments as we're going to be talking about our picks against the spread. So go check him out and let him know that Morgan, Allen, and Houston sent you to go get a quote maybe from him and see what's all about there. So we appreciate it. Thank you again so much, Daniel, for the support of the show. And I know over on chat in YouTube, James is saying, "Are you on to the picks yet?" Well, that's where we're at. We're there right now. So Al, what you got over on Facebook before we get started on the picks?
Man, we've been pretty steady on Facebook here. Okay, we've had about 19, somewhere around the 20 range the whole show, and Al Kuhn is in. He was actually making fun of you earlier for something you said about Greg Williams, about where he was from, I think. So that was kind of funny. And who else? Let's see. We've got some others that have been active in the chat. Casey Cregan's been in there. Hart Vaughn has been in there as well. So we've had some good action over here on the chat line once I could actually see the comments coming in. So that was kind of cool. But again, we appreciate everybody joining us, and hopefully we'll all do a little bit better with our picks this week.
Oh man, we've already got one of our favorite fans in here, Marty, saying he wants us to break down the new basketball recruit, which Clemson just got a new 5-star basketball recruit, 6'8", by the way. That's my breakdown, Marty. I hope you enjoy it there. 6'3".
3-star, Morgan. 3-star.
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 Not 5-star.
Everybody's a 5-star if they commit to Clemson.
You just got everybody in Clemson Nation excited for a 5-star, and it's a 3-star. So knock it off.
Everybody that commits to Clemson is a 5-star in my eyes, okay? All right, so just get it right. 3-star, 6'8". That's about all I know about him, Marty. I'm going to have to do some more research. It just happened, I think, this afternoon. So excited for Brad Brownell, and, we'll see what they can do this year. Give them a chance, Marty. Don't go ahead and give me this negativity about they're going to go play in the NIT tournament. Don't give me that. Don't put that out there. They're going all the way this year. This is the year of all years. Amir Sims is ready. I'm letting you know that. And we really appreciate it, guys. So thank you so much. So let's get on to segment number 3. And I just realized I don't think I got all the ACC teams wrote down on my notes here, but we'll kind of start it up from the top here. So let me look through here and see. So the first ACC game, I believe we're going to go by 12 o'clock. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the team we already talked about, their quarterback, traveling to Syracuse to play a team that actually looked better with Tommy DeVito on the sideline, to be honest with you. Right now, oddshark.com, as of Monday, again, if you're listening to this on Tuesday or later, this is Monday spread, but Georgia Tech minus 8.5, so they are the favorite there. About a 57% consensus right now, leaning more towards Georgia Tech. I mean, I know they couldn't really keep up with UCF late game, but I think that they can beat Syracuse. I don't know why it's just 8.5 points. I have to believe that Georgia Tech can do better. I do think that Pitt, came out real strong, and then kind of Cuse was able to do a little bit of something against Pitt, a little bit. If you could say 10 points is a little bit. But I don't think that Syracuse is going to win, which is what the computer says is the predicted score. I don't think Syracuse is going to win. Originally, I might have said that, but I'm going to say that Georgia Tech wins the game, and I'm going to actually take them to win by more than 8.5.
Well, this is one that scares me a little bit, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go first, so Houston can piggyback this week. Okay, look, I'm taking Syracuse here. Okay, I'm not really sure why. I seem to rely on Syracuse a lot to cover the spread. Hey, it worked out last week at least. It worked out last week with Pittsburgh, but I don't know why. I'm taking Syracuse. I think they'll find just enough offense. I haven't been overly impressed with Georgia Tech's offense. I mean, they've scored some points here and there. They got a long kickoff return against UCF, score one of their touchdowns that way. I don't know. And of course, they got a lot of possessions too, because UCF was scoring like crazy too. A lot of turnovers were involved there as well. I'm taking Syracuse to cover here, and I'm not entirely sure why. I haven't been impressed with Syracuse by any means, but they kept the Pitt game close after Pitt looked so good. Their offense in week 1, and they're going to be at home. Syracuse is going to be at home as well. I understand the home environments aren't what they usually are, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and take Syracuse to cover the 8.5.
Syracuse has killed me the last 2 weeks. I pick them the first week, they don't do it. Second week, I don't pick them, and they don't do it. So, of course, I'm in a dangerous and precarious position once again with Syracuse. I tend to agree with Alan, although I'll say this. I'll take Syracuse with the points, but I'll take Georgia Tech to win the game. It's going to be a similar game to the Florida State game. Ugly, low scoring. Offenses both look terrible, and Georgia Tech pulls one out at the end, but not by over 8.5.
And I can see that. I mean, this is a dicey one. It's hard to say. But I picked Cuse to not win any games, so I'm going to stick with that. And I do like Jeff Sims. I want to see what he can do. I don't think that Cuse has a good defense. And like I said, if they're going to put Tommy DeVito back in, they might as well lose the game anyways. I think their backup does better than he does. But and also I want to say this, Al, going back to what I originally said to Marty's comment. White gets in and says, I did freak him out, and Alan, I guess so. So you're in the right there. So I apologize to Clemson Nation, even though you guys knew what I meant. The fact that they're Clemson recruits or commits means they're a 5-star. But anyway, you knew what I mean. But the next one up, and let me pull it up here, is Louisville, number 24 Louisville after a loss there, tough one. They are now 1-1. So Louisville, are they 1-1? Yeah, they're 1-1. So Louisville's 1-1 at Pittsburgh, number 21 Pittsburgh. So now Pittsburgh ranked higher than Louisville. Not something I thought I would see, really, to be honest with you. I know it's early. And also, computer predicts Pittsburgh to win at home. I don't know if I feel that. There. My thing is this. Take away those 3 turnovers. I think the game's a whole lot closer. It was only a 13-point game, guys. And, like I said, I think that they have the firepower to keep up with anybody. So, in a close conference matchup, I'm going to go with give me the plus points on this one. I know I didn't go with the plus points before. My logic's all over the place. But plus 2.5, minus 2.5 for Pitt. I'm going to take plus 2.5 for Louisville because I just think they have the firepower to kind of hang at least I just don't see them losing to Pitt. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, this is I mean, look, all these games are dicey if you're picking against the spread. Okay, I mean that's why the spread is there. All right, so that's what Vegas wants you to think. It's supposed to be a point either way, just about. So yeah, I'm actually going with Morgan on this one. I like Pittsburgh. I like what I saw from them. Kenny Pickett's having a good year. And he's a decent quarterback. They really are.
Game manager.
Yeah, okay, yeah, and that's what he has been for the most part, except for when he plays Austin P, and again, only an idiot would have picked Austin P with the spread there. But yeah, I like what I see from Pittsburgh for the most part, and I think Louisville's going to look after that Miami game. They got to get something, kind of bring it back to normalcy, okay? Because their defense was atrocious in that game. And Kenny Pickett's not De'Aaron King. Okay, he's not going to make those kind of moves outside the pocket. That's not a thing he's going to be able to do, or you wouldn't think so anyways. So I think Louisville's going to be able to play a little bit more disciplined game if they don't have to focus on trying to keep De'Aaron King, from running. And I think they're going to be able to focus a little bit more and get the win. So I'm going to take Louisville plus the points as well.
This makes me nervous now. I was thinking Louisville the whole time, and now both of you picked it, and that's a killer for me.
Is it going to be the lock of the week?
I'll pick Louisville plus the points. I think they have a little bit more talent on the offensive side than Pitt. I think they've got a little bit more firepower. I think in the end, Louisville responds in this game. Pitt is not Miami. Pitt does not have the same weapons that Miami has. But I am a little bit worried now, given that Louisville's defense is not off to a good start. But I still think Louisville gets it done and covers.
This was my moment. This was my moment to pull out the soundboard. And I didn't have it ready. Now I do.
Oh, Morgan.
There it is. So the soundboard is there. I had it. I almost had it ready. I'm sorry. I really let you guys down on that one. What could have been? What could have been there? All right, so let's move over. I actually, as I was getting up the soundboard, I closed out every one of my screens, which is always a good thing to do when you're making sure you're relying on these screens to move your picks along. But the next one up. So we did have a lock for Louisville, and I want to let chat know. All three, we're going to put that out on Twitter as well. Well, all three picking Louisville to beat or to win with the plus 2.5. Mark Childers saying don't sleep on Louisville. So maybe we're wrong there. But
Pitt.
The next one up,
don't sleep on Pitt.
Don't sleep on Pitt there. Yeah, so don't sleep on Pitt. But Notre Dame, number 7 Notre Dame at Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Okay, so I can't go against them again. I mean, I went against them against USF and got destroyed. They're minus 16.5 on this one. Wake, they do have Donovan Green. They do have Kenneth Walker, who looked a lot better that week, and they hung with NC State. And by the way, I picked NC State. You guys didn't pick NC State, but I picked NC State, and they came through. And I told you guys they were going to be better than you think because they're not injured this year. But I can't go against Notre Dame again. I was a Notre Dame hater, I believe, week 1, week 2. Again, they're 2-0. They're 1-1 against the spread. I'm going to go this time with Notre Dame. Wake Forest, again, they might can hang with them early. I just don't know about late. And, NC State has a really good running back. And so the fact that Notre Dame has 3 good running backs, I think bodes well for them. I think they're going to put a lot of points up, so give me Notre Dame.
So I looked at this game pretty hard. Actually, when the line came out earlier today, it was 18.5. And I liked Wake Forest with 18.5 points. And it's not – look, I picked Wake Forest to beat NC State. Like you said, I thought the game experience that Wake Forest had was going to pay off. I liked their offense. And they scored a lot of points. They really did. I didn't expect NC State to score that many. And it was a good game. The only game I saw was the only drive I saw was the final drive when I saw the score was, I think it was 35-35 or whatever it was. So I didn't get to see a lot of that game. I don't exactly know what happened and how it got to where it was. But I'm actually going to take Wake Forest here. And And it's not because I think Wake Forest is some great team or anything like that, but I think they have a decent offense. I think they're going to be able to score more on Notre Dame than Duke was able to score. And we all saw Notre Dame in the first week. I don't think we were overly impressed with how that one went. We liked what we saw from Chase Bryce, but I think Wake Forest is going to be able to score a little bit, and I just don't know. I don't know that Notre Dame's going to be able to score enough to cover that. I think Wake Forest backdoors them late.
I'll have my jar of Duke's mayonnaise ready for the Duke's Mayonnaise Classic, because this game was supposed to be in Charlotte. It's still marketed as the Duke's Mayonnaise Classic, so spoonful of mayonnaise, just scooping right along watching this game. If it was 18.5, like Alan said, I would have taken Wake Forest. I'm gonna go with Notre Dame in this case. I think Wake Forest will score more, but I think that Notre Dame will end up pulling away. It'll be somewhere along the lines of like 44-24, 41-24, or maybe like 34-17, something like that. But I just think that Notre Dame can at least win by 17.
Okay, I got it down. Al, Houston and I, we're on the same page on that one, so we'll see where it comes from. Darth over on chat saying that NC State ran the ball down Wake's throat. Clemson pretty much did the same thing, I felt like. So if you got Notre Dame coming in, you got Notre Dame coming into town, they're going to do the same thing. I feel like Notre Dame has now figured it out. They kind of got their rhythm going. They're just going to keep on rolling, baby. So it pains me to say this because I got Notre Dame up there with Michigan in my mind, but I'm going to say Notre Dame in this case. But appreciate it, guys. So, Al, you got anything over on Facebook while I find the next game?
Let's see. We got, like you said, Mark Childress got in and said, don't sleep on Pitt. So he's loving the Panthers there. Hartbond gets in there and says in a shootout that it'll be Louisville win plus the points. So Hart's taking Louisville. He's with us on that one. He also says Notre Dame all day, and there's no argument for Wake Forest. And I tried to provide the best one I could. Okay. But I was pretty sure y'all were going to take Notre Dame. And I was like, you know what? Let's be a little different here. Let's throw something at Wake. And hey, if I win, it's just going to be a great day.
I mean, Alan, you didn't watch any of the games and won almost all of the ones you picked. So, I like your rhythm there for sure. But again, let me tell you this. So there's something I got to address here, guys. I got to address this. We got to get on the same page, guys. And I hate to call this out in front of the nation. Okay. But this show needs to be like Pat McAfee. Okay. You guys are like my cheer guys. You guys are like my rah-rah guys, okay? So even when I make a mistake, I'm right, all right? So you got to be like, yes, you're right. He is a 5-star.
Yeah.
Yes, it is Wake. Yes, it is. No?
You deserve to be hammered. You will be hammered.
I'm not getting anything on that? Well, since I'm not getting anything on that, I think it's a good time to do this.
Mute.
Are you trying to do a fart noise?
Hopefully,
the sound thing.
I'll have to get that noise. I feel like that's banned on live TV. It's kind of a little bit too much, too inappropriate for our audience. The crickets and the MLG air horn, I think we're good. You guys, it's a complete disaster to give me a soundboard. Just going ahead and throwing that out there. But all right. So next up is the Duke Blue Devils at Virginia Cavaliers. All right, so we know that Virginia hasn't played a game at all. And we know that Duke is 0-2, but they have the Fighting Chase Bryce out there who came out and kind of tried to, pump up his team on Twitter going into this week. He said, the results don't always reflect the talent on the team, which I agree with. So the question is, returning ACC Coastal champions, the Cavaliers now got a new quarterback. Still, again, have a big-time wide receiver. Still, again, have a pretty solid defense as well. They are coming in to this game as 5.5-point favorites. And Houston, for whatever reason, the audio got really loud for you. I don't know what's going on. But so they're 5.5-point favorites. Looks like the national consensus is 61% going to pick Duke plus 5.5. This one's a hard one for me. Considering you don't know anything about what Virginia Cavaliers and their new quarterback's going to do, But I mean, he's kind of like your Tim Tebow type. He can run the ball pretty well, but Duke also is good against the run. But they do have Terrell Jana, which is going to be a good wide receiver. I think he's going to be able to get out to. I'm going to say let's go with the unknown. Let's say that Virginia can beat Duke by more than 5.5, by basically a touchdown there or 2 field goals. So I'm going to say give me Virginia to cover the spread.
All right, I don't like this one bit. I picked Duke last week against Boston College, and of course that didn't go well. If you'll notice, when we did our picks on the website on southlandclub.com, I switched my pick to BC because I liked the points. The points were about 1.5 different by the time of the game hit, and I really decided I just liked Phil Jerkovic, and I thought he could make some plays, and I wasn't expecting as many plays as he made, but that was a good sign. So I actually switched that, but I don't get credit for that because on air I picked Duke.
On air is what matters.
That's right. It's on air is what matters. And I hate to do this again. I really do, because when I don't like to pull for Duke regardless. The only reason I'm pulling for them now is because Chase Bryce plays for him. Okay. But I'm going to take Duke here again. I'm going to take Duke to cover these points. Virginia, I thought Virginia was going to be a little worse than what most people thought they were going to be this year. And again, even though it didn't really work out for me last week, I think the fact that they haven't played a game could come into play here. So I'm going to take Chase Bryce, and I'm going to take Duke plus the 5.5.
Is my audio better? Sound all right?
Sounds good. You're good.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to agree with Alan. I'm going to take Chase Bryce. I'm going to take Chase Bryce to get his first touchdown pass. I think the way that Duke's playing is not indicative to how well he's actually done. He's threw for 217, threw a couple picks. Didn't get a lot of help from his other receivers and running back and all that kind of stuff like that. So I take Duke to win this game. Close one, but they cover. I'm picking Duke and Chase Bryce.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say because like I said, I know that Duke is good against the run, and I feel like UVA is going to be trying to do most of the run. If you look at the film that we did on their quarterback, he's mainly a running kind of guy. He likes to do that a lot. Tim Tebow type is what I kind of said, but we'll see. I got to go with the unknown. I'm going to stick with my pick. You guys aren't going to convince me of this. All right. So looks like the next one up, at least on the list, is later on in the night. So I'm not seeing. Well, actually, I skipped one. So not later on the night. It's still 6 o'clock. So evening time. This is one I actually hadn't put down. So this is one I'm gonna have to do off the cuff here. Texas State Bobcats at Boston College Eagles. Boston right now minus 17.5. The public consensus is 95% to Boston College. But I think Texas State, I mean, they're 2-1 against the spread, and I think they actually can score on people. At least one of the games I saw, they can put up points. They're not a bad, necessarily a bad offense. This one's going to be tough. But they're 1-2 overall, 2-1 against the spread. You know what? I'm just going to go with groupthink here. I'm going to go with Boston College since 95% of people say Boston College. I'm going to go with Boston College. Considering they're at home, Texas State, that's a long travel there. Go ahead and give me Boston College to cover the spread.
I concur because I don't know enough about Texas State right now, so I'm going to go Boston College as well.
I want to be contrarian here, but I can't.
Do it.
I've watched Texas State play. I like what they do. Jake Spavital does good at Texas State, but I don't think they have the horses to keep up. So I'll go with Boston College.
And I think I've got. Here we go. So we got. Let me see. Hopefully this doesn't. Turn down your audio. Just going to let you guys know this. Turn down your audio. But I got the air horn up. I think. Let's see if we can get it going. Yes. That was another lock pick. All three of us picked Boston College to cover the spread there, but just be careful with that because it's only really because Houston conceded to the group, and we also, or at least I did, conceded to national consensus there. So be careful with that. We'll just say that. We'll put that out there. But again, let's go to the next game. I believe this is the one that's kind of been talked about in chat. This is one where was mentioned. This is a 7:30 game. Florida State travels to Miami. Number 12, Miami Hurricanes. Miami right now, minus 11. Minus 11 is what I got for the 7:30 Eastern on Saturday. Guys, based on how they were able to rack up points against Louisville, I know that Florida State has a better defensive line. I know they have some studs in that secondary. But I just don't feel like that I can go off this Hurricane train right now. I mean, they look so good. How can you bet against them the very next week in a rivalry game of all things? And the fact that Florida State still looks like they're in shambles and has no idea and can't even beat Georgia Tech in a shocking loss of the season. I don't know. I'm going Miami this one. I must be crazy, but I don't think it's going to be a trip-up game for the Hurricanes in this one. I think they cover.
Okay, well, you're certainly not crazy. I mean, when I saw the line this morning, it was at -10, and I texted my friend Marty. I don't exactly remember what I said, but basically the gist of it was, why should I not just bet my entire house on this spread? Okay, because that spread should be at like 20. I mean, Miami's looked really good so far. Got a real big win against Louisville, and Florida State's garbage. They got beat at home by Georgia Tech. Okay, I mean, I just don't understand this. The line seems really fishy to me. Okay, it's one of those lines where I'm so confident it's going to be Miami that I really want to take Florida State just because it's like Vegas knows something. Okay, and trust me, if anybody knows, Vegas knows. I don't know if half the team is going to be out, Derek King is not going to play, or what it's going to be, but my entire logic says I've got to take Miami here. It's a no-brainer, so I'm going Miami as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to say it should be Miami ugly early. I feel like it's going to be all Canes all day. I'm on the Cane train. Give me Miami covering that one.
And you know what that means? That it is another lock. All three of us. Hopefully you can hear that. I don't know if you can or not. Chat saying it was really loud. I turned it down a lot. So, maybe you heard it, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But again, thank you so much for watching in and keeping up with my antics here. Again, that's one that to me, when you look at it, it seems like the steal of the week. I don't have a sound for that. Maybe we should get a sound for the steal of the week. But it seems like a steal of the week to me. And maybe we're all wrong, and I'll definitely have a button for when we're all wrong. But that'll never happen. But all right, so last one on the ACC list here is the team that I wrote in and I said was one of those legit teams out there. Well, not a legit team. Let me take that back. But a team that was going to improve on last year. And, Dave Doran is normally a 9-win, kind of a coach out there when it's a normal season. This is a little bit different, so hard to say. But NC State travels to number 20, Virginia Tech, who has yet to play a game. They covered the spread last Saturday, which is a pick that I did against the other two guys here. But public consensus has 82% going with Virginia Tech at the -7 to cover. I got to say, to be honest with you, if that Miami one is a steal, convince me that this one is not a steal. I mean, I think Virginia Tech's one of the best teams in the ACC. I know Walt thinks I'm crazy when I say that, but I think that, they're the unknown. That's the one thing. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. But Raheem Blackshear got his reversal of his ineligibility, so he's going to be out there. He's a good dynamic running back / wide receiver flex type guy. So give me Hendon Hooker and Virginia Tech Hokies if they can get through COVID tests and actually play a game. I'm going to say VT and the Hokies all the way to cover. And this one, to me, I mean, the predicted computer score is 38-15. I mean, that's more than 7 points there. So it might be a steal of the week, guys. What do you think?
Well, let me say, I was trying to look up something right now. So, okay. The reason I can, convince you that it's not a steal is, I mean, NC State scored 45 points. I mean, they scored 45 points against Wake Forest. Now, we expect Virginia Tech's defense to be better than that, right? I would hope so.
I think so.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But in the fact that, again, I'm going back to this. I've talked about it for a couple weeks now. They have not played a game yet. Okay, they haven't played a game. I keep mentioning that. I don't know. I don't think it worked out very well last week, but I'm still going with
when
it.
We talk about things not working out, I talked about Pitt didn't score 27, didn't beat anybody by 27 points. Right. So I have no place to talk. That's for sure.
That's exactly right. So I think we're in interesting territory here because it's not like. It's not like Miami playing UAB the first week. Okay, UAB's not a real top tier team. So it's kind of hard to say. So NC State starts with Wake Forest, and they look like they're gangbusters, okay, with scoring 45 points. Maybe it's the opponent that you're playing week one. Maybe they're more fired up. Maybe they're willing to throw all their offensive weapons out there and everything they've got in the playbook. I'm not really sure what to expect, but I'm going to say NC State comes back down off the mountaintop there, and I'm going to go with Virginia Tech here.
You said all that to go with Virginia Tech? I mean, I was just for sure you're going to pick NC State.
Had you on the hook, didn't I?
I can't believe I'm going to say this because I don't like NC State. I don't like. I'm not an NC State stan. I don't think they're going to be improved this year. I disagree vehemently with Morgan. I don't think that this is going to be a very good year for the Wolfpack. With that being said, I don't know if Virginia Tech's going to have a ton of players or a full roster. Justin Fuente said today, hey, maybe we'll have a full roster if we get to play. So if the game is played, it's just kind of curious. I don't know if this is gamesmanship that he's trying to play with NC State, but I tend to take him at his word that he's struggling with roster management right now, which makes me think I think Virginia Tech finds a way to win this game, but it's going to be closer than 7 points. I think they struggle just because they don't have the bodies in the places they need. And that's why it's a closer game than most people think. And that's why I say Virginia Tech wins, but does not cover.
Sure.
You just had to take away the soundboard from me on this, really? I mean, that could have been almost 3 soundboards in a row. You just took away my trifecta. Okay, I'll let it pass. But let us know what you think. Are we crazy? I mean, that's the ACC picks. We got to do our top 5 games of the week that are non-ACC games of the week, and then we'll wrap it up to finish up the night. And Al, you were right. We can never. I mean, even when we only do 5 picks, we make it to 10 o'clock. Believe me, I am going to make it. So Ben Milstead, if you're watching still, we can make it for the full 2 segments, the full 2 hours. We can definitely do it. And if anybody, I can do it by myself. But we're going to make it at 10 o'clock. But what do you think in the chat? Do you think that we're crazy? Do you think that any of these picks are completely off? Again, I have to back up my Virginia Tech pick, so I'm going with that. Let's get into the top 5 games of the week. And Houston, since you made these picks, or since you told these games that we're going to pick, we'll start with you, because we kind of started with Alan, I believe, the last couple of ones. We'll start with you. We'll let Alan cheat off your paper on this one. And we're going to go, should we start with Tennessee at South Carolina? Should we start with that, or hang on
if you
to
want
it?
to, I would just say let's save our commentary for our feathered brethren in the Midlands till the end.
All right, let's save it to the end, but let's start out with a team that is near and dear to my heart. Number 22, Army, at number 14, Cincinnati. And the Black Knights there, I got to go with Army, guys. I got to go with Army. Got a great quarterback, doing really well, running all over the field. Putting up some points there. So can they keep it within 14? It's plus 14. So yes. So can they keep it within 14? I'm gonna say yeah. I know Cincinnati's a powerful offense, so I might be just completely clueless. But if anything, I'm gonna live and die by the Army because hey, they got 6 years of my life.
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree with you on this one. So you're saying Army is plus 14 right now on this one. So I'm going to say Army wins this one outright. They are a hungry bunch of dudes right now. I honestly feel like they're going to go in and win that game outright. I love what they're doing. They wanted to play a team basically 2 days after a team canceled. So I think Army's going to win this game just because they're just ready to get after it right now.
With respect to the time, I won't say much, but Houston, you just like Morgan earlier, you stole my thunder a little bit because I was going to say basically the same thing about Army. I would not be surprised to see them go in and win this game. I'm going to take Army as well to cover the points.
And you know what that means. That is another 3-banger lock of the week. Yes. All right, so we're sold on Army. We want to take that one for sure. Computer says it's going to be 32-27 Cincinnati. I mean, that's close enough to say they could win that game. And if you're going to pick against the spread, a 3-point loss is going to get you within that plus 14. So take that. About 57% picking Army right now. Next up is Mississippi State at LSU. This is a 3:30 game. Both these games going to be at 3:30, so you have to toggle between the two. LSU, they lost a lot. Mississippi State's got a new coach. Neither team has played. There's that mystery of the unknown out there. The public consensus is for sure thinking that this is going to be over 57.5 points. They're just kind of 50-50, 50-40, 60-40 on what the spread is going to be. Louisville right now, or LSU right now, minus 16.5. And to me, they don't have a running back I feel like they can rely on. They've got a ton of people that are opting out on defense. They also lost what I think Bill was saying over in chat. They lost like 75 people to the draft last season. So, in a conference-to-conference matchup with the magician, Mike Leach out there, and KJ Costello, I believe, is going to be playing this game. Yep. So give me that conference close game. Now, I know it's at LSU, so that's probably the biggest thing that I should be red flagging myself right now. But it's not the same this year. Home field advantage is definitely not the same. So give me the Bulldogs plus 16.5.
Clanger, 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 clanger. Mississippi State is going to cover this game. Look, this, I think, is the worst possible opponent for LSU to open the campaign this year with. You've got a new quarterback, new system at Mississippi State, running a completely different offense than what they had last year against a defense that is completely depleted. Mississippi State to cover. I'm not quite ready to say they win this outright, but, man, LSU is going to be scared at the end of this game. Mike Leach is coming to town.
Look, LSU has lost a ton, okay? We all know that. They lost coaches, they lost offensive players, they lost defensive players, okay? It's been interesting, but look, let's not fool ourselves here. They have talent there. They're LSU. They recruit incredibly well. And, I mean, they're just a year removed from a national championship, unfortunately, as we know very well. But more cowbell, ladies and gentlemen. I like KJ Costello. I think he can play a little bit. I think this is going to be a real interesting game. And I just don't know how you go against Mississippi State here when they just lost so much in its first game trying to feel their way out, even though I do like Brennan as a quarterback. And they've still got some playmakers. Like I said, they've got talent there, no doubt. But it's game one. That talent's going to have to grow up, and I don't think they're going to be quite ready game one. Take Mississippi State from me.
Now, I haven't tried out any of these cowbell buttons, but there is a cowbell button, so we're going to try that. I got a fever.
Wow.
I got a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell, and we picked more cowbell there. So another lock. All three of us picked Mississippi State there to win plus the points there. Next up is, this one's kind of tough for me. We got three more to go. Three more to go on the list. K-State at number 3, Oklahoma. Now, K-State, just laid an egg against Arkansas State. And I say laid an egg. They lost late in the fourth quarter. They actually lost with 38 seconds to go. So I take that back. That was kind of disrespectful to the Wildcats there. They lost with 38 seconds to go. They went away from Skylar Thompson running the ball. That was one of the problems. Okay, so they need to go back to their basics of last year. They almost beat Oklahoma last year, but they're coming off a bad loss, in my opinion, especially for the Big 12 as a whole. Everybody started making fun of them on social media for it. But Oklahoma right now, the Sooners showing, and I'm going to double check it. I'm going to double check it as I'm talking here. But I've got minus 28.5 for Oklahoma against K-State. So, you know what? I'm going to take it. I feel like that Oklahoma is one of those teams that could definitely throw up 30 points or more on a team that lost to Arkansas State. But, again, it was a close game. K-State was winning till the last 38 seconds. So, I'm going to give me a little bit going back. K-State's got to go back to their basics and give me to keep it within 28. They're not going to win the game, but keep it within 28. So give me K-State.
It's a tough one to say because part of me thinks that Oklahoma is just going to come out. They remember what happened last year in Manhattan, and they will not let up the gas. But I could see this being a game where they get up by a lot. early. Kansas State comes in at the very end and covers late. I want to say Kansas State with the points. Oklahoma is still going to beat them handily, but I think Kansas State gets some points late to keep it under that number.
I just realized that the public consensus is 98% to Oklahoma. Am I allowed to take that back?
Too late. It's already out there. You spoke it into existence.
Yeah, I don't know that you need to. I mean, you guys are on the right track. I mean that Kansas State has played Oklahoma close in the past for sure. Yeah, they had a tough loss that first week, but in Oklahoma, I think the reason I am going with the public here is because exactly what Houston said. They remember that. They remember. I think it was a loss. What it was the last couple years to when they were huge underdogs. And Kansas State won. So yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma here. And as much as I hate to, I think they've looked incredibly impressive offensively, and I just think they're gonna roll them. But we'll see soon enough. So I hate you don't get to press your button here, but I'm going to take Oklahoma.
No button for me. That's okay. This is the last two of the night. Tennessee, South Carolina is going to be our last one, but this one is one that's really interesting to me. Number 23, Kentucky at Auburn. They're number 8, Auburn. -7.5 for Auburn. Right now, 64% leaning towards Auburn, but the computer's predicting 28-27 for Auburn to win. I mean, and that gives me the points. Not to go with the computer, but they're getting their quarterback Terry from last year who tore up his knee. He's going to be back. He's going to be starting. Auburn, I feel like when you got these unknown situations, I think Kentucky is one of those teams before everything happened that was just as good as Auburn. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with, like Chad Morris and the changes that they're going to be making and things like that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but go ahead and give me Kentucky plus the 7.5.
Yeah, still my thunder. Again, there, Morgan. I think Auburn will win this game, but it's going to be closer than 7. I think Kentucky has got a lot of talent coming back. They've even got one of Auburn's former quarterbacks as a backup behind Terry Wilson. I think Kentucky is one of those teams that kind of punches up from their weight class. Auburn kind of being that team that kind of messes around and gets into these tight battles and sometimes even loses like they did to Tennessee a couple years ago. I think Kentucky will keep this game close. Auburn will figure out some way to, do their little Auburn magic at the end and win. But I think it's a lot closer, and they're kind of running for their lives at the end.
Yeah, Kentucky always seems to have a good line or good lines of scrimmage, and they have a couple offensive linemen we've talked about earlier this year when we were previewing the SEC. And they always seem to find some dudes, so to speak, on defense. And I just think it's going to be closer. It's going to be maybe a sloppier game, and I'm taking Kentucky as well.
Yes, another lock there. All three of us taking Kentucky. We're on the right page. You guys are really starting to learn some things from me. This means a lot. This means a lot after all these years. Last one up, and we're not going to give these guys a lot of time because we're out of time. Number 16, Tennessee at South Carolina. Tennessee -3.5. Will we see Harrison Bailey, 5-star QB freshman? Maybe, maybe not. Gamecocks lost last year, 41-21 in Neyland Stadium. Colin Hill, what they call the poor man's Trevor Lawrence, is going to be playing, going to be under center. If you've seen the meme, it's basically what you get when you buy Trevor Lawrence from Wish. So I can't go against South Carolina, of course, at home, but I'm going to do that. Give me Tennessee to cover 3.5 and beat South Carolina outright by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, I would say this is one of those that you're stealing. If you don't take, or if you're picking Tennessee, you're stealing because Tennessee's got a lot of talent on both lines. They've got a talented duo of running backs. I don't know if we'll see Harrison Bailey. I think Jarrett Guarantano was named the starter today. I feel like they're going to ride with him. And look, I'm just not digging Mike Bobo. I'm not digging this Colin Hill stuff. Maybe I could be very wrong at the end of this year, but this just has disaster written all over it.
What you do to improve is you ship your old quarterback out to Utah, and then you order another quarterback from Colorado. That's how you win games. Oh, and by the way, you also win games by slowing the game down.
Exactly.
So first of all, I don't like picking South Carolina games, okay? Because I don't ever want to pick South Carolina against anything, okay? I don't want to pick them against the spread. I don't even want to talk about them unless we're making fun of them, okay? So if we want to talk about them, okay, I don't even want the chance to, because I got to give out picks. I know people are taking these picks and betting with them, okay? Obviously people are putting their whole houses on our picks. All right.
Don't put that on us, Al. Don't put that on us.
They shouldn't be doing that, okay? Because this is just for fun. I need everybody to know this is just for fun. All right. But I cheated a little bit this week. I hate to tell you guys this, but I talked to our resident Vol fan. All right. Had a little conversation with Philip earlier today. And I asked him about Trey Smith. I'd heard some inklings about him, possibly opting out. He's got some lung issues or something like that. That apparently is not the case. Cade Mays got his transfer waiver accepted, which is ridiculous, but whatever. Also a good lineman for him, but they're good on the lines of scrimmage, plain and simple. I think their offensive line is going to be able to take over this game. I do like Colin Hill for South Carolina. If he can stay on the field, he's had injury problems his whole career, but I really do like what he brings to the table, but he's got no supporting cast. The only guy I can see as a playmaker that has even flashed anything is Shi Smith, and he's been incredibly up and down, as Philip was mentioning as well. And he also said, by the way, Philip said, no, Harrison Bailey is 3rd or 4th on the depth chart right now. He missed 3 or 4 weeks COVID-related. Okay, so a little more Vol insider scoop there. I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers to cover that as well.
And you know what that means. And I probably had it too loud last time. I apologize. Let me turn it down. And then that means that we had another lock. All 3 of us picked Tennessee in a row.
Very scary.
And we can't, you can't go against, you got to go against South Carolina because, we hate them and we don't want to see them win any games and we want to see them lose, especially against the spread. Even if they were given plus 70 points, we would probably take the other to cover. But again, we appreciate everyone coming in and joining us against our picks against the spread, against our talks about Clemson versus the Citadel and their bye week and some concerns and some things we like, and also some of our rants and raves that we did throughout the week, or as reflecting back on last week. But, man, I think it was a great show. I know it was a little bit longer, but we got a lot of really good games because the SEC is now playing, which is exciting because more college football with the better teams out there is a great thing. And we'll be able to do this about a month from now when we say, here the Big Ten is, joining everybody else finally. And then probably a month from there, we'll be able to say, here's the Pac-12 finally joining everyone. And then the Mountain West just said basically we don't care about football. But, so again, thank you so much for joining in. Since we're a little late, I'm going to cut it short, and I appreciate. But we got a little extra special credits at the end. We want you to stay and watch the credits. We really appreciate it. But again, thank you so much on behalf of my co-host Big Al, Alan Adams, and also Houston Burnett. Thank you so much for joining in. And as always, Tiger fans and those other fans out there, we'll see you at the top of the hill.